Hi guys, it's Julia here, welcome to Book Time. Filming in my car today for a whole host of reasons. Primarily the fact that we've moved house recently and there's not really anywhere suitable yet to film at home, and I'm about to pick the kids up from daycare, but I had a bit of time in between things, so I'm just gonna film in my car, socially distant from any passers-by, but there are barely any passers-by because everyone's inside. So I thought what I would talk about today are some of my most anticipated middle grade releases of 2020. So I will do another middle grade TBR, which is books I already own or books that have already been published, but this is stuff that's not out yet. So I just made a little list. This list is by no means exhaustive. This is just, I'm just looking on my phone now through a bunch of different publishers' websites to try and find some new release middle grades that sound cool. So the first two are actually sequels in series that I've been reading. The first book I'm going to mention is actually the third book in the series. It's Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend, which is the third book in the Morrigan Crow series. So I think everyone who read the first two is very excited for the third one to come out. It's from Rhiannon, coming out in May. I'm not going to give too much away about it because, I don't want to spoil what happened in the first two books, but if you enjoy middle grade fantasy and Harry Potter, you'll probably like these books. I would say they are not as original as they could be. I feel like they draw very heavily on other popular fantasy and sci-fi stories. It's got lots of Harry Potter vibes, Doctor Who vibes, but they're super fun. You really want to find out what happens, so it doesn't bother me that they're like other books in that way. So I'm really excited for Hollowpox. The next book I want to talk about is also the third in a series. It's called Ottilie Colter and the Withering World, and this is the third in the Narrowway Hunt trilogy by Rhiannon Williams. She's an Australian writer, and it's out through Hardy Grant Egmont. I think it's Egmont. And that one comes out Morrigan Crow comes out in August. This one comes out in May. Again, I don't want to talk too much about the plot of this specific one, but I really enjoyed the first two in the series. Basically, it's about a girl whose little brother gets kidnapped to go on this secret hunt, and she follows the kidnappers to try and get him back, but then she ends up getting involved in this hunt, but the hunt is for boys only and she is a girl, so she has to pretend to be a boy. Anyway, I don't want to give too much more about it than that, except it's magical. There are these dark creatures that are coming from somewhere that they have to try and get rid of, and it's really fun, it's action-packed, it's really great, quite feminist, so I recommend them. I've talked about them in other videos actually, so I might link the videos down below where I've talked about the first two books in a bit more detail, because I feel like I didn't do a very good job of explaining them just now. So the next books I'm going to talk about are all completely new to me, so stuff that's not from series that I've read before. Sorry, I'm just referring to my notes. Oh yeah, the first one was from AC, is it A.L. Tait or A.C. Tait? Next one is the Firestar. That's what it's called anyway. Can't read my own handwriting. It comes out in September from Penguin. This is a new medieval adventure series, and I think it's about two kids who have to try and find the Firestar, which is some sort of magical stone or device or tool, something, not quite sure. And I think for some reason they've got 3 days to find it before the baddies get it. I'm excited to read it. Medieval adventure, middle grade series with magic. Sounds great to me. The next one sounds really interesting. So it's actually a book of poetry by a guy called Solli Raphael, and it's coming out from Penguin in September. So Solli Raphael was the youngest person to ever win the Australian Poetry Slam competition, I think, which is held at Sydney Opera House. Because he won it when he was only 12, or he's only 12 now. In any case, he was really young. He's already published a book of poetry called Limelight, but this is the next one called Spotlight, and I think it's focused on contemporary issues that people his age like tweens face. So I think there's a lot of stuff about responding to climate change, bullying, being yourself. I think there might be some stuff about race, and I think that half the poems are written in a traditional format and then half of them are like spoken word, written down versions of the spoken word poems. And I think, from what I understand, there are also some chapters that are like non-fiction chapters with tips and sort of his thoughts on what it means to be a young person in the world today and how you might go about it in a sort of increasingly challenging world. So I'm pretty excited about that one. The next one is written by an Australian writer, but I think it's coming out first through an American publishing house, and it's Shivaun. It's The Boy, the Wolf and the Stars by Shivaun Plozza. So she has actually written 2 YA novels before that were published in Australia by Australian publishers. And I read her first novel, Frankie, which I really liked. I gave it 5 stars. I don't read heaps of YA, but I really liked hers. And she's written a middle grade novel, and it's about, so I think a wolf eats all the stars, and once that happens, all the magic in the land goes away. And then Beau, who is the main character, and various friends or sidekicks, I think, have to go on a journey to get the stars back in the sky, because I think there's a witch who also wants to destroy the stars after the wolf's eaten them. So I think they want to sort of restore magic back to the land. So that one is not out. I don't think that one's out till late in the year, like November. I'll put the publisher and the proper date on the screen. Oh, the next one, I keep remembering what I've written about, and I'm excited about all these books. So the next one's by Patience Agabi, and it's called The Infinite. It's out through Canongate, I think, in the UK, and maybe through Allen and Unwin here. That's out in June 2020. This is cool. This is about, so people who were born on the 29th day of February, so the leap year day, the extra day that happens on a leap year, are called leapers, and they're born with a special gift. And I think this story is about a girl learning to use the gift, whatever gift she has, I'm not sure what it is, and then she has to use it for the power of good. And I think she has to sort of go through time to protect the other people who have gifts as well. Sounds really interesting. The next one is called Her Perilous Mansion by Sean Williams, and that is out through Allen and Unwin in July 2020. And this sounds cool. It's about 2 girls who are working in a mansion, an old mansion, and I think one of them's an orphan, because what would a middle grade fantasy novel be without an old mansion and an orphan main character? But we all love it, and that's why people keep writing about them. So I think the orphan, called Almanac, and a friend she makes, they're both working there, maybe as cleaners or servants of some sort, I'm not sure. But I think it's a largely empty mansion, and then things are not what they seem, and some weird things start happening, and they have to sort it out. Yeah, sort of a classic middle grade fantasy tale, and I'm excited about it. The last one I want to talk about, I feel like I haven't talked about very many. It's like 10 books, 8 books maybe, but I'm excited about a lot of other books too, but these are just the ones that I could find today. So if you know of any more middle grade books coming out, please let me know. So the last one I want to talk about today is called Echo. Sorry, I keep looking, I feel like the whole video I'm just doing this. Oh, my notes up here. Echo Mountain by Lauren Wolk, out in April, so next month. This sounds really interesting. It's set in Depression era Maine in the States, and it's about a girl whose family lose their home basically and have to move onto the mountain. I think something bad happens to her dad, and he's in a coma, and she, the main girl, is kind of blamed for it, and by the rest of her family. And so in order to help her dad, she wants to climb to the top of the mountain to meet the old hag, or the old witch. That's what the old woman's known as colloquially in the area, to try and heal her dad. But I think when she gets there, there's like other stories and mysteries and stuff to be learned. So I'm excited about that. It has a cute cover too. So they're all the ones I wanted to talk about today. Obviously, there are so many more middle grade books coming out this year than the ones I just mentioned. I just was getting a headache from scrolling on my phone trying to find them all, reading through publishers' catalogues. So I stopped after, 8 or 9. But please let me know if you have any, or if you know of any other middle grade books coming out this year, because I love middle grade. I'm always on the lookout for more. So please let me know. All right, guys. Chat soon. Bye.